Welcome to Stitching Addicted. My name's Tania. I'm doing a stitch with me. This is, I think, extra stitch with me 12, 13, 12 I think. I am working on Celtic Summer by Lavender and Lace, and the fabric that I'm stitching on is Jolie by Chromatic Alchemy. This is one of the pieces of fabric that I got last year in my advent calendar box, and I must admit I love stitching on Chromatic Alchemy fabric. This is a 16 count 2/1, and I'm finding it very easy to stitch on compared to my 25 count that I'm definitely struggling on, and I'm having to use the magnifier on for every stitch at the moment. I decided what I'm going to do for the next few months, maybe the whole year, is that I'll pick a piece and I'll do it 1,000 stitches, and then the next day I will change to another piece. So if I don't do the 1,000 stitches in a day, I will work on it a second day. For example, today I've only done 318 stitches on my magical arrival. So I have put each piece in the tiny decisions wheel, and I just spin to see what I'm going to work on. It's a little cooler here today, which is quite nice. It's 78.8 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 26 degrees Celsius. So what have I been doing the last couple of weeks? I have been stitching every day. I have also been making bags. So I showed in my last update, I think, that I had made 6 bags, maybe 8 bags. Anyway, I've made a whole 20 bags in last week. So project bags, because my threads from AliExpress arrived into the country today, so I will get them next week. So that's 2,500 threads, I think, if I remember rightly. So what I will do is I've already done a printout of each project, what colours they need, and I will put them into the bag, and I will nominate what they're for. I still haven't decided what count I'll do them on as yet. I was hoping that when I finished my rainbow sampler piece, spoiler alert, I have finished my rainbow sampler piece by the Twisted Rainbow Sampler, Twisted Band Rainbow Sampler, by Northern Expressions. Anyway, off Etsy, I have finished that piece finally. I'm very pleased to have it done, and I will insert a picture here hopefully so you can see it finished, but spoiler alert, I will show it in my update. So I printed out all the colours for all the projects that I'm kitting up, and I put them into the individual bags. I've also 3D printed out tags, so I'll label them, but I haven't decided what count that I'll do them on. I'm not sure how many more 25 count pieces I will do. I still have about 4 meters, at least 4 meters of 25 count. So it would be really good to continue on 25 count for the simple reason that you use a lot less thread with 1/1. But I find that with CXC being a wee bit thicker, the 1/1 on 25 count is a little tight, and I'm thinking that 18 count might really suit the 1/1, but I need to do a trial. And as I was saying, I finished the rainbow sampler, and I intended on starting the Day and Night of Africa by Paint Food Crafts. The retired pattern, I intended on starting that when I finished a piece, but I'm not feeling like a new start at the moment. This piece I only started on the 22nd of December on summer solstice, and I was a day late. I seem to be late for everything at the moment, but I also had another start, the Greta Gold Broom, on the 1st of January, so I don't really feel like a start at the moment. So I'm thinking I might wait in the meantime and see how I feel in a few months. I might be ready. Hopefully these videos are in order, because this is the second time I've done the voiceover because it was out of order. So yeah, I've decided that with the tiny decision wheel and just working 1,000 stitches each time I work on something, I'll have a little progress on everything, because there's a lot of projects that I haven't touched for ages, like the piece that got picked today, the Magical Arrivals. I have only done 320 stitches. I'm not sure I'll do that much more today, so I'll definitely be working on it again tomorrow. Dave's off at the moment, so I do find that his 3 days off I don't stitch quite as much, but today I can't blame Dave because he's been busy doing stuff in the garage, and he went to the runoff and he really hasn't been home. But I sewed my Halloween Afghan bag that I wanted to make. I'd already done a bag, but I decided I wanted a bigger bag with an internal pocket that was white internal pocket, and for the fabric to sit in, and also have an area for threads and my thread drops, because the Halloween Afghan pattern has a lot of threads because it's a 20 count and you do it over 2/2. So I wanted to have a bag big enough to hold it all. So I think it was 21 inches by 20 inches, and I did handles as well, so I can cut it around if I need to. At the moment the bag's hanging up on the door and it took me longer to make that bag than I thought it would, because I bought, I think it's called drill fabric. It's a lot thicker than my normal cotton fabric that I buy, and I liked the fabric. I bought purple and white, but I couldn't use my rotary cutter. It wouldn't cut through it, so I had to use scissors, and yeah, I'm pretty slow cutting fabric that way. So I'm pleased to have that done, and I've got all the other bags, so I've done all the printouts, so I need to just label them and have it all ready for when the threads arrive next week. I got the Stony Creek fabric last week and the specialty threads as well, so I need to put it all together because I'm really bad at the moment of putting things in a safe place and then not finding them. For example, I have put my antihistamines in a safe place and I really need them at the moment because I've welts all over and I don't know where they are. So, and it's not like I can get a doctor's appointment because I can't. We are short-staffed at the clinic locally. For example, I rang up earlier this week to say that I only had my blood pressure medication. I only had another month left and I needed to make an appointment, and I got told that the doctor would just have to write me a prescription to the chemist because I wouldn't be able to be seen within a month. So that's unusual. So I got some more sleeping tablets, which is really good. Unfortunately, he only prescribed me 20 again. So that means in the month I can't take one every night. I have been rationing them and having them every second night because I don't know how long they will actually let me have sleeping tablets, because it's very much a restricted drug here in New Zealand. They're very hard to get. I've always had very bad insomnia and I've never been able to get sleeping tablets. Even melatonin, which is something that you can buy over the counter as a vitamin. I presume it's vitamin. I think it is. Over the counter in America and Canada, you cannot buy it here in New Zealand. You have to get a prescription for it, and it's very expensive. It works out at $2 a tablet, whereas I'm sure I paid maybe $2 for 90 tablets in the US when we were over there. So just having a drink. I actually bought several bottles and brought it back with me when we went over to Canada the last time, and I've nearly run out. So what has been happening? Nothing exciting here. Like, for example, New Year's Eve we didn't do anything because COVID is very much still running rampant in New Zealand, and because I'm on the steroids, I'm very careful about who I'm around. And to be honest, we go to bed quite early. Well, Dave does anyway. Dave's in bed by just after 9 o'clock because he's up at 4:15 every morning. He is off today and Saturday and Sunday. Today is Friday. I actually don't know what the date is. Is it the 12th? It's the 13th of January 2023. So it has been very hot here. It is only 26 degrees Celsius here at the moment, and which is 78.8 degrees Fahrenheit, but it was 30 degrees Celsius, which is 86 degrees Fahrenheit the last few days. But it rained yesterday, so it's cooled it off a little bit. There wasn't a lot of rain, it was just more like a bit of a shower. So this house seems to get hot and stay hot for a few days, and then in winter when it gets cold, it stays cold. I can't seem to be happy. But I'm very grateful that we have lived rent-free for 15 years. It's given us the ability, with not paying rent for our house, to build our own house and to be in the position that we're in, which I'm very grateful for. That is not everybody is in that position and paying rent, which Jessica is paying, and she's actually paying a lot of rent in her cottage in the city. So yeah, I think that it'll be really good once we've sold our cars and to have all what we owe on the land there paid for. So then we'll only have our living costs. And Dave intends to run beef stock and do other stock up there. I'm not sure he even knows what stock he's going to do as yet, apart from the red demons. I mean the red Devons. Dave has been talking about these red Devons for the last few days, and I misheard him the first time, and I was sure he said the red demons, and I said, do they have horns? And he goes, no, they're naturally polled. And I'm going, oh, I don't understand why they're called red demons, because they're meant to have a really nice temperament. So, not like other bulls. So, they're meant to be stocky and grow quite well. And let's be honest, they're red. That's why Dave wants them. He has a bit of a thing about red stock. I'm not sure why. But he has been trying to get these stock for the last few days, and he rang somebody yesterday, I'm sure it was yesterday, to inquire if they had any stock. And he just about called them red demons too. I heard the deem, and then he goes, Devons. So, yeah, maybe catching on. I'm a bad influence. I can just blame my brain that I misheard. You can tell at the moment that while I'm stitching, you can see my hand underneath moving. And I do two-handed stitching because I find that you don't get the same fatigue on your arms, so RSI, and with using both hands. I used to get a sore elbow on the right hand side, and that's why I always have a cushion underneath my elbows to put less strain on my elbows, because especially when you're doing 1,000 stitches every day, it is repetitive. So I am careful with that. And that's why I have stands, so I'm not holding anything as well. Talking about stands, I bought a new stand, and that's the Omanite Mantis table stand. It arrived earlier this week. It was very easy to install. They gave wonderful instructions that I didn't need, and in the instructions I had a glimpse at it when I bought the product, and it said about how to put it together, and I was thinking, oh, this is interesting. And it said about that they had a tablet stand as well, which was an extra, and I thought, that's a good idea, I should get that. And it also said about a Q-snap attachment as well, to add Q-snaps to it, and I thought, that's a good idea, because it only goes up to 60 centimetres, which I'm not sure what inches it is. Just a minute and I'll have a look. Because we work in centimetres here, sometimes I know inches. It's 23.6 inches. That's the biggest width you can go. So I thought it gives it, if I get the Q-snap attachment, it gives it more versatility. I did know that because it was a table stand, it would be coming from in front of me, so I would have to, sitting in my recliner, it would be an issue. I'd have to have a table on wheels. So I bought a wheelchair table. It goes over a wheelchair, and I thought, oh, that might be perfect for over my recliner, so I can still put my feet up and recline back and stitch. In practicality and reality are two different things, because I don't think I realise how often I actually get up and down. I'm always getting another drink, or going to the bathroom, or checking the 3D printer, or doing multiple things. Even though David waits on me hand and foot like I'm on the Queen, and he gives me lunch, and he gives me breakfast, and he gives me coffees, I still do actually get up quite a lot. So yeah, it's it was awkward, I felt. So what I have decided to do is keep using my Lowry stand for my frames that I've already got on frames, but I'll put the Q-snap attachment on the new table stand, and I'm going to put it in the spare room, and I'm going to put my computer chair next to it, so the advantage is that I can just wheel away. But first I have to remove my 3D printer, because at the moment I'm having issues printing, and that is due to I changed the nozzle on the 3D printer, and it changed the leveling as well. I think also probably due to heat, because it's been very hot here. For example, the room that I print in is, a lot of the time it's actually 40 degrees Celsius. I just have to work out what that is in Fahrenheit. So that's 104 degrees. So I think Fahrenheit. So I think that's what's warping my bed. And also I'm working with Silk PLA, which is, it's more a metallic filament, and it looks very pretty, but it is a real not joy to print. I'm trying to put this politely. Yeah, it's not fun at all. So I think that's half my issue, and once I go back to PLA I might be right. But I said to Jess today, I said no, I'm over it. I've levelled it several days in a row and it keeps changing, and Brendan spent an hour and a half this afternoon, he spent an hour and a half the other day, and it's still not great. And I said, I'm just over it at the moment. I've got enough thread drops as it is. I don't really need to print anymore, so I'm just going to leave it, and I will take it up to, get Dave to take it up to the runoff with the filament and everything else that goes with it, and over Easter hopefully Jessica can reset it up for me and it'll be ready for when we move up there. That's my theory anyway. Today in the garage, David came inside several times and said, oh, do you want to keep this? And do you want to keep this? And I'm going, yes and yes. And then I thought about it and thought, well, it's been in the garage for how many years? No, I probably don't really need it. I think Dave's thinking that we should be scaling down, and I seem to be keeping everything. I think he should just make the executive decision and just go, he's smiling in the background. And
it's difficult when it's your stuff.
Look, I've probably forgotten it's there, so it'll be fine. So I think you just make the executive decision. If I don't know it's there, I won't care. But that box with photos in it, yes, I do want to keep that, because there was photos of us when we went on the cruise and other things as well with the kids when they were younger. So some things you do have to keep, like baby photos. Have you seen Brendan's baby book yet?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it might be up at the in the container. It's some things that we need. For example, when Brendan went to the doctor the latest time, they were saying that they didn't have any record of all his baby inoculations, and they were saying, oh, he needs to have the inoculations now and it's so many weeks apart and all that. And I'm going, no, you've had everything that you had to have when you were a baby. I said it's a waste of time. So yeah, so I have to prove by his baby book that he has had it, and I said as soon as I find it I will give it to you. And it's not going to be anytime soon, that's for sure. So we are slowly taking loads up to the runoff to try and clear out a wee bit more before. I haven't packed in the last 2 weeks anything, but I should tomorrow, hopefully, with the 3D printer. Are you going up to the runoff tomorrow, Dave? He's not listening to me. He's got...
Oh, no, maybe Sunday.
Oh, maybe Sunday. He wasn't listening to me. He obviously actually was listening to me because he answered me. Because he's got headphones on and he's watching TV. He loves Netflix. I can't stand it. Actually, I can't see it anyway. We bought this big TV. Is it a 55-inch, 60-inch? Do you remember?
I don't know.
It might even be a 65-inch. I don't know, but I still can't see it. So I mostly just watch stuff on YouTube, and I have been watching a lot of whip parades, but at the moment I'm just about... I think I'm swamped with it. I've watched so much. I think there's one pattern I was thinking, oh, I like that. Maybe I should go get that. And then Dawn, which is Fairy Rose here on Flosstube, she sent me a picture the other day of the latest Heaven and Earth pattern by Cairo Machete, and I'm thinking, ooh, that looks really cool. And then I looked at it and thought, oh, there's going to be heaps of confetti in that. No, I don't need it. I've got enough patterns. In my lifetime, I'm not sure I'll stitch everything I've got anyway, so I'm not... It has to be something that I can't live without. So back to the 3D printer. I've printed some, but they're not perfect, and I have decided I'm just going to file them a little bit or sand them a little bit to get a better surface on them, and I'll still use them. So I have thousands of them. So I probably will put 100 thread drops in each bag as well when I put the cottons in it, so they're all ready to actually put them onto the thread drops when I start the project. But like I say, I don't know what fabric I'm going to even use. I'll have to try with this 18 count that I've got, the day and night piece that I was going to start. I was going to do an 18 count 1/1 because it's CXC, because it's a wee bit thicker. I'm not sure if I said this before. I'll apologise now if I repeat myself because this is the second time doing this. So I couldn't get my doctor's appointment, and I only got the blood pressure medication for a month, and I only got 20 sleeping tablets as well. So Monday's job is to ring up and get an appointment. Goodness knows when that'll be, because they're down to 2 doctors. It used to be 6, didn't there, Dave?
What?
Locally at the clinic, there used to be 6 doctors. I think there used to be 6, because they had doctors from Dunedin as well come, but now there's down to 2, which is quite problematic considering in our local area it's 6,000 people locally. I'm sure 6,000 people. Or maybe there's 6,000 jobs that are available. Yeah, no, I can't remember. Anyway, there's a lot of people in the local area. So, and it's quite a wide area as well. Even getting into the dentist is difficult. I've actually got an appointment in March somewhere. Actually, I must look at that because I know I've got an appointment, but I don't know when. I feel like I can't remember when stuff is. Dentist. When's the dentist? Look, 31st of March. Ah, that's why I thought I had the 31st of January for my hospital appointment. Ah, look at that. Wrong month. So I have the eye specialist on the 30th of this month. I'm not sure if I need to go and see them since they now have diagnosed me with MS, and the lesion is on my optic nerve. So I assume the eye specialist actually can't do anything about my eye pain. It is better since I have been on the steroids. I have got 1 week left. Each week, because I was on a month's course this time, each week that I lower the dose. So I haven't heard from the neurologist about whether I have the JCV virus. I haven't heard about that yet, but I don't think the neurologists start back until the 20th of January. They're on annual leave. So considering I'm on the steroids for another week, I thought I'd just wait and see. So I haven't rung them up to inquire about when they're going to start treatments. So when I do talk to them, I'm going to ask whether I even need to see the eye specialist, because it might be a waste of time. I might even ring them and see what they say, because everything is so backed up here. I don't want to take an appointment where it could be somebody that could actually get treatment, whereas mine might be just the way it is. And there's a lot of people a lot worse off than I am. I feel that I'm very blessed. I have a fantastic family and I have a lot of support, and I am still able to do what I love. I just have to be careful about walking and things. David starts teasing me at night. He goes, "You're walking erratic." In other words, I need my walker. I think it was more the fact that last night I had been walking quite a bit yesterday, and last night I tripped and nearly fell on him. Dave would have looked like a little dead ant because he's only a little fella. So, yeah, could have been quite funny. I'm not sure he would have seen the funny side of it, but maybe I would have laughed. So yeah, when I came back after checking the 3D printer last night, he did stand up and help me to my seat. I don't think he trusted me. I don't know why. You would think by now that Coco would learn not to just lie down in the hallway in front of me. I'm walking along erratically, and then she just plonks herself down, and it's like, really? You're putting your life in dangerous hands here, kid. So quite a few times I have hissed at her to get her to move, because quite frankly I do not want to be stepping over her and tripping. So she has to learn to get out of my way, not me get out of her way. So hopefully in the next week I will be able to say what I think of the Omnic stand. At the moment I'm thinking, yeah, doesn't help my stitching much. It wasn't. I thought I would be able to have it from the side the same as I do with the Lowy. And it just didn't work that way. I really need it from front, or it was quite awkward. So that's one thing I need to stitch on it for a few days to see what I think of it, to be able to say whether I like it or not. And I'm quite fussy. I think the other thing is that when you're used to using a stand, your muscles get used to that pressure that you put on those muscles from repetitively stitching. So if you change the angle, it changes the way you stitch, so you get a wee bit sorer than you normally would. And I think it takes a little bit of getting used to. So back to David's red demons. He is hoping that he can get some. Have you heard when you're going to get them, Dave? Dave?
Oh, they're going to get back to me in a few months.
A few months.
Because they don't get weed till March, April.
March, April. Yeah. So hopefully they've got some spare. So you can get 2 types. Let's tell me if I'm right. You can get commercial, and they have got brown noses.
Yes.
And you can get...
They've got to have pink noses to be pedigree.
Oh, they've got to have pink noses to be pedigrees. So what's the difference in price?
$200.
Oh, it's only a couple of $100. It's not a massive amount, is it? Does that mean then you can sell pedigree stock if you've got pedigree? Is that what you're intending on doing?
You got to record them.
You got to record them like everything else. So Dave's quite keen to actually have a play with the genetics because that's what he very much does on the farm. For example, he's very much into his red Vector cows, which are red and white Friesians. So they've got to have this certain genetic to call them a red Vector. It's on one side of the bull or the dame. So every year Dave tries to get the best red Vector bull for his red Vector cows. Is it this year that you got the sex semen for them, Dave?
No, we just use Aussie Red on them.
Oh, you just used Aussie Red on them. But it must have been last year you used the sex semen. And you got a bull. And they were all meant to be females.
Yeah.
So I had to laugh over that. It's 90% success rate. Is it 90%?
90-something%.
That it should be a female. 90% chance that it should be a female. Yeah, well, it wasn't. So a sex semen is about $45 or $50 a straw, compared to $20 a straw for unsexed. So, and some cows you put more than one straw in them because they might lose it, a bit like we do. You know, after 6 weeks they might come into season again, and then you have to inseminate them again. So the advantage of Dave doing the beef stock up at the runoff and doing pedigree stock is that he will be able to inseminate his own cows because he's been inseminating here for years. So that's one thing that he's really looking forward to, is continuing to play with genetics, because here he picks the bull to go over his heifers or cows, and for traits that he wants to eliminate. For example, if it is a cow that is quite short, he might want her to have a bigger stature, so he'll pick a bull that has got bigger stature. Or it might be that a cow has their udder, the teats are too far apart, or they have other issues later in life within, you know, a few years. So he will breed a bull that has the trait that his daughters have better udders, or bigger stature, or they have a bigger muzzle. There's actually a lot into it. It's not something that you just pick up. So we're very grateful that we haven't had to pay rent, and the advantages are that we've lived rent-free for the last 20 odd years. The disadvantages are that you don't have a choice of the house so much. You normally get the job and it's whatever house is supplied. Sometimes you have a house that you absolutely love, and sometimes you have a house that you absolutely hate. Whereas renting, if you had a house that you didn't like, you just move on. So the local gossip. One of the neighbours have moved, which is very unusual at this time of the year, because normally you stick around until the 1st of June or the end of May. And to move at this time of year, they must have been very unhappy. I think Henry's still looking for a job. He hasn't found a job, has he, Dave? No. So hopefully in the next few weeks he will have something. He needs to actually talk to the guy that's taking over our job, because there might be a position anyway. The thing is that he doesn't like the house that he's in, because it's only a 3-bedroom cottage and there's actually 5 of them in it. When we employed him, he only had 2 kids, and they were in the Philippines, and his wife was in the Philippines, and since then his wife and 3 kids, because she had another one when she was in the Philippines, another child, came over here, and they've all got residency, which is really good. I don't think they intend to go back to the Philippines. Well, the kids definitely don't. They very much like it here, even though it's a lot colder than what they're used to in the Philippines. But they seem very settled. I think the disadvantage for Henry finding a job is he wants it only within so many kilometres of the local town, and there's not that many jobs within that area. So to find a job and the income that he is used to, he might find it more difficult than he thinks. So unfortunately we can't help with that. We have told him jobs that we know that have come throughout, because we're in the Patterson group, and they own 19 farms. So the problem is that most of the farms are about 30 minutes or 40 minutes out of the local town, and it's too far for them. It's only 10 or 15 minutes here to the local town, which is really convenient for us. But yeah, we'll only be about 5 minutes out of town when we move to our runoff block. The advantage is we have a restaurant just down the hill from us. If only the restaurant was really good, it would be all right. I think we've actually only been there once, maybe twice, and that's it. So I don't see us going there a lot in the future. Dave is hoping to do a garden up at the runoff, so we can actually grow some of our own vegetables. Especially at the moment, we're buying new potatoes, and it's $7 for 1.5 kg of new potatoes. So it would be really nice, because we actually go through a lot of new potatoes in the season. It'd be nice to actually grow our own, and a crop that's very easy to grow. We just need to get the guttering on the shed so we can have that water collection tank, so over summer we can water everything, because it's quite dry at the moment at the runoff. And we're on a water scheme there, but it's not a lot. The stock drain the tanks over summer daily, so as much as comes in they drink. And we haven't got as much stock there this year as we normally have, because we sold all those heifers to export. We're having fun and games again. M. bovis. So over M. bovis, every other country deals with it. It costs New Zealand economy millions and millions, because our government decided no, we wouldn't deal with it, we'll try and eradicate it. And we got contacted by M. bovis again the other day to say that some of our stock that we'd sold are on an M. bovis farm, and we have to prove that our stock didn't have it and contaminate everything. And as we have our stock here, it's the M. bovis tested, because it's in the milk sample, and we've always been negative, so it's not us. And the young stock come from the milking stock here. It's not like we buy in stock, so we can't have it. And we sold export heifers earlier this year. Actually, I think it was heifers, it was calves, and they were all tested for everything known to mankind, and they all passed. So yeah, I don't know how he picked it up, but it's very unfortunate. But he was buying stock from several farms, and that's a risk, and that's what concerns me about Dave talking about buying quite a few stock. I'm thinking, oh, this is a bit of a worry, because M. bovis, and then what happens if you get M. bovis, you then have to, you're not allowed any stock for 3 months, and you've got to clean everything. It's just a rigmarole I could do without. So David's just shaking his hands as if to say that that's a risk you take. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
It's not like you get a whole milking herd.
Yeah, it's not like it's a whole milking herd, I guess. But it still could cost you. So what they don't pay market price, do they?
Yeah.
I think they pay killing costs. You don't get as much as what they're worth. So that's what they do, is if you've got any contaminated stock, they kill them. And it's really frustrating because the M. bovis blood test isn't that accurate anyway. So you might get a false positive. So they could kill stock that are perfectly fine. So yeah. So this piece I decided I'd keep working on until I got the face, and then I'd do all the beading on the title, the summer. And I was concerned about the colour of the face against my fabric because it blended in. It's similar. It's very similar. But I've actually added in the back stitching. And it actually sticks out fine. I'm actually quite happy with it. Because of the factionals and things, I do tend to look at my faces and things and I go, I don't know how good it is. But maybe I'm just picky and looking too close, I'm not sure. So I made my Afghan bag, so I should hopefully add a picture in here to show you what it looked like. And my thread drops, I have been having issues with the printing, so I'll add a couple of pictures in here too. One side is perfect, the other side isn't. Jessica gave me a new G code, and that's the slicer that you use because she thought it would be better. But I think the issue isn't with the software, I think the issue is with my leveling that I have issues. So, and the heat, like, it just gets too hot in the afternoon. So in the morning I can print fine, and then in the afternoon the prints all turn to custard. So I think that could be some of the issue. And Jessica's got an issue with hers printer at the moment. She thought her nozzle was blocked, or her extruder was blocked, so she took it apart and then she put it back together, and she had spare parts. So she's actually had to buy another extruder. She told me that it arrived into New Zealand today, so she should be up and printing next week, because she bought it from Amazon because it was a lot cheaper. I think it was half the price as what could get here, even with the exchange rate. And she did the fast postage. I don't remember what it's called. Yeah, no, I can't remember. So it's a lot quicker. So it'll be interesting to see how her prints go. So thank you very much for everybody watching this. Thank you for everybody that's subscribed. Hopefully I will have next week, I'll have my update. And I'm sorry I haven't commented on everybody's comments this last time. I've actually just hearted and given a thumbs up. I have read every comment and I appreciate all the feedback and everything. I'm sorry, I'm just quite tired at the moment. And words aren't coming quite as well as they should do. For example, red demons. I think that's stuck now. And Dave's having difficulty remembering they're called red Devons. Maybe I should stop joking about it. Oh, I have to tell you about the cooking incident. I cooked fried potatoes last week, and I said to Dave, oh, look, are you going to eat the last one? And I'll take your plate over to the bench. And he said to me a few days later, he goes, all I taste was burnt food for an hour afterwards. He had me in tears. I was laughing that much about it, just his description of it. And he goes, did you forget about that you turned them on? And it's like, maybe. And so several days afterwards, I said, oh, do you want me to do fried potatoes tonight? And he's going, no. He's going, it's fine. We'll have something else. So he did it tonight. And how we do it is we slice up the potatoes, you put a wee bit of butter in the dish, and you put them in the oven, and they go crispy, and they're really yummy. And he did them tonight, and I was talking to Jessica at the time, and I said to him several times that, has he checked the oven? And he was sitting at the computer looking at stuff. So I don't think I would have been the only one having crispy potatoes. Okay, mine may have been more than crispy. I actually think char grilled, cremated is a better description. So if you've heard any noises, it's either David moving around in his seat because he has ants in his pants, or it's me itching. I've got headphones on with this with the speaker, because I keep itching my hair because my scalp, I've obviously got the welts in my scalp as well, so it's really itchy. So I apologise if you hear any random noises. I did turn the fan off because I thought that would be way too noisy. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you got some stitching done, and I will post in a picture of where I finished here because I did all the beading. Thank you. Bye.